It was a long evening. Time after time the squire would take the book and ask the lesson. The answers would be wrong. He would hand back the book and say grimly, "All right. I'll ask it again in another half hour." The girls and the mother went to bed. At 10 o'clock the answers were still wrong. The squire, exasperated, slapped the boy out of his chair, then hauled him up from the floor and set him down again. "One more chance," he said. At 10:30 the answers were again wrong. Again the "there is a river" boy was knocked out of his chair, landing on the floor. Slowly he got to his feet. He was tired and sleepy. As he sat in the chair he thought he heard something. His ears were ringing from the blow that had floored him, but he heard words inside him. It was the voice of the lady he had seen the day before. She was saying, "If you can sleep a little, we can help you." He begged his father for a rest, just for a few minutes. He would know the lesson then, he was sure. Going into the kitchen, the squire said, "When I come back I'm going to ask you that lesson once more. It's your last chance. You'd better know it." He went out of the room. The boy closed his spelling book, put it back of his head, curled up in the chair, and almost immediately was asleep. When the squire returned from the kitchen he snatched the book, waking him up. "Ask me the lesson." "I know it now," the boy said. The squire began. The answers came quickly, certainly. They were correct. "Ask me the next day's lesson. I'll bet I know that, too," he said. The squire asked the next lesson. All the answers were correct. "Ask me anything in the book," the boy said. The squire skipped through the pages at random, asking the hardest words he saw. The answers were correct. The boy began to tell where the words occurred on the page and what the illustrations were. "There's a picture of a silo on that page. The word synthesis is just under it. synthesis. The squire closed the book and slammed it on the table. His patience was exhausted. "What kind of nonsense is this?" he roared. "You knew there is a river that lesson all the time. You knew the whole book. What's the idea? Do you want to stay where you are in school so you won't have any more studying to do? Are you as lazy as all that? Do you want to stay in the third reader all your life? I didn't know it until I slept on it, honest," the boy said. The squire knocked him out of the chair again. "Go to bed," he said, "'Fore I lose my temper." The boy ran upstairs, taking his book with him. Under the covers he prayed his thanks to the lady and hugged the speller. Next morning after his father had gone he gave the book to his mother and asked her to listen to his recitation of the lesson. He still knew it. He told her what had happened and she kissed him and told him she was sure the lady was keeping her promise. In school he was brilliant at spelling, but woeful as ever in his other subjects. He took the books home with him and put them under his pillow before going to sleep. Then he thought about the lady and prayed to her. Next day when Uncle Lucian asked him a question in geography, the picture of a page M the textbook leaped to his mind, and he read the answer from it. It was the same in other subjects. Each day he took his books home, and at night he slept on them. He had an idea. That the first time was all that was necessary, but he wanted to take no chances. Besides, it would make everyone believe that he studied hard if he were seen with a lot of books. He began to make progress as a scholar. Uncle Lucian advanced him a grade and spoke to the squire about it. He seems to know everything in the book, Leslie. No matter what I ask him, he has the right answer. It's almost as if he were reading it. But I know he doesn't cheat. There is a river. Keeps his books in his desk and stands up and looks right at me when he recites. The squire took his son aside when he got home and asked a few questions. What's going on? How do you do it? He said. Is there anything to that sleeping business you told me about? That's all I do, just sleep on them. When I wake up I know everything in the book. I don't know how it happens, but it works. The squire stroked his mustache. I hope you're not crazy, he said. The presidential campaign of 1892 was exciting for Christian County. Cleveland was trying to regain the of BCE he had lost to Harrison in 1888, and for a running mate he had Adlai E. Stevenson, a native of the county. Everyone turned out to support the local boy who had made good, and Squire Casey, who loved politics in any form, made speeches, argued at the Crossroads store, and promised to take his 15-year-old son to Hopkinsville, the county seat, for the celebration. Cleveland won and plans were made for a parade and a monster party. The day before it happened, the new teacher at the school, Mr. B. F. Tom, called the squire's son to his desk at recess time. Old man, he said, I've been talking to your father. I remarked to him that you were my best student, that you always knew your lessons. He told me that you go to sleep to learn them. Others have mentioned the same thing. What is it? How do you do it? I don't know, really. I just seemed to know once there is a river. That, if I put my head on a book and went to sleep, I'd know the lesson. Then I did it with other books, and it worked. I don't know what it is. He was embarrassed, blushing. There's nothing odd about it, Mr. Tom said. Don't feel that you are different. There are many strange things in life that we know nothing about. How do you see your lessons? In pictures? Yes, I see pictures of the pages. Well, I won't bother you any more about it. But I think it's something that should be studied. There are so many things we don't know about. Don't let it worry you, and don't stop doing it. There's no harm in it. Now run along and play with the rest of the boys. He ran out and joined the game of Old Sow, a variation of prisoner's base that the boys were playing. He ran faster than usual and threw the ball harder, trying to forget the feeling that came over him when he thought about being different from others. People were always staring at him now, and the boys would holler, "Hey, old man, how about sleeping on our lessons for us?" It was because his father told everybody about it. The squire was proud of his son and wanted him to show folks how smart he was and how quickly he could learn and carrot hing by sleeping on it. He burned with shame every time he thought about it. "Run, old man, run," the boys shouted. He ran, and made it, but the ball hit him on the end of the spine just as he reached the base. The bell rang then, and they ran into the classroom. All during the afternoon he acted queerly, laughing and giggling, making faces, throwing spitballs. Mr. Tom was there is a river. Distressed, but did not keep him after school, thinking his questions had upset the boy. Going home he rolled on the ground, jumped into ditches, and stood in the middle of the road, stopping buggies and teams with upraised hands. At home his mother had put some green coffee beans in a pan and was roasting them on the kitchen stove. He took the pan in his hands, unmindful of its heat, and went into the yard. There he sowed the coffee as if it were seed. During supper he threw things at his sisters, laughed uproariously, and made faces at his father. The squire put Hinny to bed. When he was under the covers he became serious. He gave instructions for a poultice to be put on the back of his head, near the base of the brain. He was suffering from shock, he said, and would be all right in the morning if the poultice were applied. What shall I do? The squire said to his wife. Make it, his wife said. There isn't anything in it that can hurt him. Meal, onions, and some herbs. Come and help me. I'll fix it. When it was ready they put it on the back of his head. And when he was satisfied with its position he relaxed and went to sleep. Several times during the night he shouted, "Hurrah for Cleveland'll," and pounded the wall with his fist, but did not wake up. To keep him from harming himself, the squire pulled the bed away from the wall. When he opened his eyes the next morning carrot bores and relatives were sitting around the bed, keeping vigil. "What's the matter?" he asked. "Did I get run over?" He remembered nothing from the time he had left Mr. Tom at recess. The squire told him what had happened. "You told us it was a shock, and to put dye poultice on the back of your neck. How do you feel now?" "There is a river TM fine." He jumped out of bed. "Can I still go to the celebration in town tonight?" The squire beamed at his relatives and friends. "Cured himself," he said. "Ever see the beat of it? I tell you he's the greatest fellow in the world when he's asleep." "Sure, we're going to the celebration. Old man, we've got 2 things to celebrate: Adlai Stevenson getting elected vice president and you getting better." The relatives and friends said nothing. With thoughtful faces they watched the boy get dressed, then filed out of the room and went downstairs. They did not talk among themselves until they were out of the house. Hopkinsville had its gayest time in generations that night. Torchlights illuminated the streets. Banners and flags and bunting turned the business section into a carnival lot. Whiskey flowed as easily as talk. Crowds jammed the side walks, overflowed to the roads, inundated the saloons. The squire and his son wandered about. The squire talked, took an occasional drink, listened to his friends, laughed at their jokes. The boy said nothing. He was having a good time with his eyes and ears. He even liked the fist fights Tliat broke out periodically. But when one man pulled a gun from his pocket and shot another man who was only 10 feet away from where he stood with his father, a wave of sickness swept over him and he wanted to go home. While Men and policemen milled around. He sat down on the curb. When the excitement was over, the squire found him and patted him fondly on the head. "Well, it's been quite a day, old man," he said. "Let's go back to the wagon. These people are getting too drunk. Somebody's apt to get hurt. There is a river." This was to be his last year in school. He was 16 in March and big enough to do a man's work. His Uncle Lee gave him a job. Uncle Lee was farming the old place for grandmother. All that remained of his boyhood was the closing exercises at school. He was to recite a piece. He began searching through his English books, trying to decide which selection he liked best. His father settled the matter for him. On one of his trips to town, the squire met Congressman Jim Mackenzie, who had won fame for himself in Washington by fighting to have the tax removed from quinine. He had made a fiery speech in the House of Representatives and had been nicknamed Quinine Jim. President Cleveland was sending him to Peru as minister, and he was at home for a visit before sailing to take over his post. He and the squire had a drink to celebrate the honor to Christian County.